Today my presentation is about Cradle to Cradle. Sustainability is a trend that more and more companies are following. Take for example Patagonia. They create new clothing out of old and worn out clothes from their customers. Other companies such as Aveda, Herman Miller and Adidas have their own way of being sustainable, just like Patagonia. But they are certainly not the only companies, and the list of firms keeps on growing. When it comes to sustainability, there is something that is mentioned quite often, which is Cradle to Cradle. Cradle to Cradle has already been mentioned to as early as the 1980s by Walter R. Stahel. But it was not popularized until 2002 by William McDonough and Michael Braungart. The duo co-authored a book entitled Cradle to Cradle and started a firm that helps companies implement a cradle-to-cradle approach into their production. But what exactly is Cradle to Cradle, or C2C for short? Cradle to Cradle is named the next industrial revolution, as it gives a new approach to sustainability. Traditionally, eco-efficient techniques seek only to minimize the volume, velocity, and toxicity of the material flow system. To make this sound easier, companies try to change something in their production chain that, for example, results in less CO2 output or no longer uses biofuel for energy. Whereas C2C offers a sustainable business strategy that mimics the regenerative cycle of nature in which waste is used. For example, the Patagonia example, where they use old clothing to create new clothing. Cradle to Cradle has three principles. Waste equals food, remove the idea of waste and reuse everything. Again, Patagonia, for example. Use current solar income. Use clean and renewable energy, for example, the use of solar panels. And celebrate diversity. Value all organisms and species on this planet, as everyone plays a part in the ecosystem. We will be using the Herman Miller case in the book, as I find a very clear case of Cradle to Cradle. Herman Miller is a manufacturer of office interior. In the 90s, they started working together with a Cradle to Cradle architect named William McDonough. Together they created the Mira chair. The design of chairs shows exactly what can be achieved through Cradle to Cradle. The chair is 94% recyclable and is consistent of 54% recycled materials. Furthermore, Herman Miller's greenhouse operations uses 100% renewable energy. As for my opinion on Cradle to Cradle, companies are becoming more aware of sustainability, which is a good thing, especially when they actually change something in their production line. However, I think Cradle to Cradle is just overall a better strategy that if you're able to execute it in your line of production, you can have a greater impact on the environment.